Yeah, I'm a king, yeah. I don't really bother with pawns. I'm a big shark. I don't really bother with prawns. You're not me, don't know how I feel. Won't get screwed over by a deal. Won't open up, yeah, I'll keep it real. Can't let you see my Achilles heel. Yeah, I'm a king. I don't really bother with pawns.
We are here to talk about your debut EP, Something to Drink To. So I think it is time to start delving into that right now. Something to Drink To, released on the 25th of October. Tell me about the cover art and how that represents the project.
Yeah, man, listen, shout out Oren. I messaged him. I just said, listen, I said, he's an art major, like a fine art major, and like he's like absolutely dope. He's from Tyrone as well. So like I said, this project, like I said, I put everyone on my back, and like I said to him, look, I want some sort of concept, like art. Like I don't want it just to be as obvious as someone drinking something. Like I want, or like a picture of people in a bar or something. I said, I don't know. And he said, all right, give me a couple of months. And I didn't hear a word from him for about 3 months. Not a word. I think I messaged him twice as well. And he didn't message me back at all. And then I was like, oh, this guy's a joker, like he's not serious. But then he sent me the sketch that he had done for it. And I was like, all right, that's dope. Like he goes, if you want people, he goes, it's kind of like you want people drooling at the mouth for it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, when like you want something so bad, like you're drooling. Like he goes, that's what I've kind of tried to embody here. But like, and I was like, all right, cool. I was like, and the sketch looks sick. And I was like, how is he gonna make this like look like a proper album, like an EP cover? And then what you're seeing there in the background is actually the painting. Like he actually painted this on like an A5 canvas. Like he painted the whole thing. And he went in, like he went sick with it. Like literally painted the whole thing, like colors, background. Like he worked on even like the details in the background. Like if you see there's like a slight touch of brown in the background, which is supposed to represent like the rum as well. My favorite, like one of the rums, like the most potent rums, is Rare Nephews. So that's why the the liquid that's coming out of her mouth is clear, because anyone that drinks Rare Nephews knows it's a white rum. So yeah, it's just like the whole concept of it was like fucking sick. Like I just thought, like yeah, like this guy's got it. Like he understands what I was trying to do. And like as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, this is definitely
and that's crazy because there is so much like depth and detail into it, but like maybe when you look at it you're just like, oh, okay, like that's kind of what it is. But then when you think about the concept and you pick out the little bits, like it's crazy how in depth it actually is, if that makes sense.
Yeah, nah, he, like I said, he went super crazy with this work, and like I'm so happy that like I said, I was kind of I'm in an hour about the artwork, and I was like, how much do people care about artwork anymore? But I was like, you know what, like if I've put in so much time into I'm willing to put in so much time into everything else, why not the first thing that people see I put a bit of time into? And like I said, I couldn't draw you a stick, man, even if I wanted to, do you know what I mean? So I think getting him, who's like literally got a degree in like drawing pictures like this beautiful and stuff like that, and he's got stuff commissioned and stuff, is like it was a no-brainer.
Yeah, he's definitely done a fabulous job on it. Another thing I wanted to talk to you about as well is the genres that we come across, because not one track is the same genre, yet everything fits together so perfectly. We have like an old school garage type sound, we have a grime sound, we have like drill influences coming in. So talk to me about like using those different genres, but then making it just one.
It's supposed to be me. So like I said, there's grime in there. Like I said, like my entry point into like the love of music, like in terms of actually thinking that I want to do this, is grime. Like watching people do grime sets and stuff, was like, this is what I want to do. Like I want to be involved in this. Then you have like garage, the first ever like I said, my cousin, I talked about it on Good Times, but like my cousin had a garage radio station and it played garage and funky house music. And I used to listen to that religiously. I would literally listen to his radio station, not just because he was my cousin, but because he used to play like garage and funky house music. And anyone that kind of grew up in the south of England in like the early 2000s know how important garage and funky house is to like the scene that we have today. Like there would be no UK rap and there would be no Afro swing if it wasn't for like the funky house era. So like I wanted to incorporate that. Like I used a soul sample. It's one of my favorite like soul songs. Like I said, like I think it's Tina Marie sings the song, and like I wanted to like sample that. And like when I found like clearance for the sample, I was like, this is sick. Like this is like everything I kind of wanted. Like, do you know what I mean? And then a bit of trap, because who love like I said, 2015 trap music had like the world in like a headlock. Like you couldn't go if you went into a club, no matter what club it was, and you didn't hear trap music, the club was shit. Like no point even going there. And then like I said, drill's taking over the world at the minute. Drill's the new grime, like, and it's so raw like, at the moment, like especially in Ireland. Like obviously it's a bit more polished in the UK, but it's still here like that raw drill feeling. Like it's still hunger music. Do you know what I mean? Like whereas now a lot of people in the UK scene are making like big money and like livable money off it. A lot of the drill boys here, it's not there yet, but it's literally heading in the same direction. And I love that raw feeling. So I definitely have to encompass that. And then there's so much involved. And like I said, I want every project I ever make to be a representation of me, whether it's past me, present me, future me. Like I just want it to be a representation of me.
So then how did you manage to get all of those genres to match the same energy and to be consistent throughout? Because I mean, grime to trap, they're like nearly two ends of the spectrum, do you know? So how did you kind of get everything at the same level and keep the same hype and consistency throughout the 6 tracks?
Like I said, I just wanted it to be me. Like if there's ever like a headline show, like a CJ headline show, like if you see like that, like that's what you're gonna get. Like you're gonna get all this stuff. So like I had to like listen to songs, and you have to be picky with stuff. And like I said, all the producers that I worked with, like every single producer that I worked with was so good, so understanding, so calm. Like they probably thought I was a diva at some stage because I was just like, nah, that ain't it. Like, but like I said, I was so grateful for like every single beat they sent me, even the ones I never used. Like there's people that have sent me beats, and like there's producers who have sent me beats who I didn't use for this project, but it's like they still helped mold like the overall project, because I could have just used those beats and those beats would have been hard, but they wouldn't have matched what I was trying to do. But so it's kind of like being super selective. I think I tweeted the other day, like if you ever catch me in a producer's live saying that every single song, every single instrumental that they're playing is fire, just know like I'm finished. Like I've kind of given up on this, because there's no, like I said, like there's no way that every single lyric I'm ever gonna spit in my whole entire life is gonna be like 10 out of 10. And the same way with producers, like I ain't saying that what they're making is shit, but you can't be in there saying every single beat is fire. Like it's just not gonna work. Do you know what I mean? So like I said, thank you for all the producers that stuck with me. Like I said, there was some, like I said, I try to keep positive vibes, but there was some that kind of dropped off a bit, like like this guy's maybe a bit too selective, and like I'm a bit too big time. But like I said, I wanted, like, it's my first project, like I wanted it to be perfect. So yeah
Definitely. And I love how you're saying that you weren't afraid to kind of like put the producers back in their box, or like tell them what you wanted, because at the end of the day, it is your project. You know the sound that you want, you know the vibe that you're going for. So I mean, you're asking them to do a job for you, and if it doesn't kind of fit in the job, then what's the point? So
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. And like I said, probably the person who probably would say they find me the hardest to work with is probably the person that I'm closest to, like, which is Buns. Like, me and Buns we were friends way before music, and we'll be friends way after music. Like I said, we started GVO together. Like, we started GVO in his front room. Like, no, it wasn't even in his front room. We worked in the same place. And I turned around and I was like, look, I was rapping when I was younger. And I was like, look, I'm getting back into the rap game. And he was like, well, I've just learned how to produce beats. So let's go. And I was like, right, let's do this then. And then that was it. Like, after that, like, we kind of never looked back. The first couple songs we made were horrendous, absolute dog water. And then, like, once we started kind of feeling each other out, because he was super trap, like, he was super, like, I only make trap beats and I'm not making anything else other than trap beats. And I was kind of like, well, I'm only rapping on grime and I'm not going to change my tempo for anyone. And then we was kind of like butting heads. And then we kind of like started feeling each other out. It was hour-long phone calls, 2-hour-long phone calls, shouting at each other. There's been times where we've threatened to not work with each other again, but like we're brothers at the end of the day, and brothers argue and bicker. And then now look, like I said, we've got, I think, 2 of the songs off the EP are his songs that he's produced. And the last one was kind of like a special, like, he knew what I wanted. And he was like, I'm gonna make you this beat and I know you're gonna like it. And it was like, yeah. It was just like, all right, cool. We don't like we're too well suited for this. Like, do you know what I
yeah.
mean, in terms of the group?
Yeah, it's nearly like when they say don't mix business with pleasure. Like it's really harder to work with people that you know than with people that you don't know.
Yeah, and like I said, we know each other well. Like I said, we know each other like too well sometimes to kind of, like, I feel like if we lived together, or like say we had made this project, like, because he still lives in England and I'm obviously living here, if we had seen each other during the making of this project, it may have not even worked. I think it worked because we had that distance in between us. So like when we were kind of mad, we could kind of like, right, I could just put down the phone, like, and it's like, but like I said, we never fall out for any period of time, like anything too long. Even though we threaten all the time. I'm never gonna talk to you. Piss me off. And then like next day, it's like, oh fuck, I've got this beat for you. Oh, like, I need this beat, and it's like, yeah, cool, like brothers again, kind of thing. So yeah, like I said, he probably frustrated him. And like I said, there was a song that was supposed to be on this EP that he said is the best song I've ever made. And then I took it off. I think maybe 4 days afterwards, I was like, yeah, nah, it's coming off the EP. And he was just like I said, I think we disagreed on that. But like I said, it's kind of to be expected with family. So that's how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. But it all works out in the end. So we go through the hardships for the good outcomes, I suppose. We're gonna start kind of getting into the tracks now and kind of figure out what's about each track. So the first track is called Intro, and it is produced by Mob Dylan, which we did briefly talk about earlier. I'm going to give the listeners just a little taster of this track, and then you can kind of give me a bit of background info into
Hand on the Bible, nobody rivals, and I'm only really talking facts. And I don't care how much you sold, you only look good with stats. But one mic, one room, and corner, you really just.
So that is the first track. We do hear a lot of nods in there. You have you're showing your capability. There's a few metaphors in there. You're kind of saying how it is with stuff. So tell me a little bit about Intro.
Intro. So when I made it, I just wanted, like I said, after I think the success that Summer Bop had and had the success that Good Times had, I think people were kind of not sleeping on my lyrical ability, but I think they kind of thought, oh, okay, is he going down the pop route, kind of making, like, does he still rap? Do you know what I mean? That is it, or is it just gonna be like diluted music. And like, don't get me wrong, good times in Summer Bop are not diluted in any way, shape, or form. And if people actually listen, there's metaphors galore, especially in Summer. Actually, listen to Summer Bop. I think I went 16 bars of nothing but pure like doubles and triples. So, but like I said, I feel like when it's kind of like over a catchy beat and you throw like a catchy hook in there and stuff like that. So I said, there's one song on this EP that's not gonna have a hook, and I'm just gonna be, I think intros 2.5, 3 minutes, and I just wanted I wanted 3 minutes of just me just absolutely shelling it. And then, like I said, I met Mob Dylan at a previous job. We both worked together, and we were literally boys. Like, I didn't even know he made music, and he didn't know I made music. But we literally first day became friends. Like, it was like this guy's cool, calm. We'll just hang out together. We used to lunch and like hang out, and like we both hated the job as well, so that kind of helped. We was just like, fuck this place. So we kind of both left, and then I think he mentioned to me that he did music, and I was like, oh, okay, but I thought he was more into like country music, because that's what everyone was into, and it like everybody in Toronto is kind of like a country music fan. Like, so I just thought, he's just a country music fan, cool. And then I think I put out applause, and he messaged me, and he was like, yo, like, I didn't know you liked like hip hop music, like I didn't know you like grime and drill and stuff. Like, I make beats too, and like he sent me like this whole catalog of music. I was like, whoa, like I didn't even know this, like, I didn't even know this side of you. And then we kind of always was like, right, we're gonna do something, and we always put it off and off and off and off and off. And then he sent me that beat, and I was like, right, this is it. Like, it's 140 BPM. It's like the cello and the violin on it are going crazy. Like, I have to just like go crazy on it and like do it justice. So yeah, I wanted to show people that I'm like at heart, like, cool. Maybe you'll get choruses and maybe you'll get hooks, and maybe one day I'll sing. Like, do you know what I mean? But at my heart, like, I'm a rapper, and that don't ever get it twisted as well. Like, in terms of in a room, like my comfort zone is being in a room with one mic. Do you know what I mean? And like people passing the mic around and stuff like that. And like I've been in rooms where people are passing mics over your head, like passing mics behind you, and you ain't even got a chance to, like, do you know what I mean? So I'm comfortable in like grabbing the mic and being like, look, I'm a rapper, and you're gonna get 16, 32, 64 bars of pure rap, and that's what it's about for me. So that's why I wanted the intro to be. Like, it's an intro to me, but it's also like it's an intro to those who maybe don't know my music, and to those who kind of maybe do know what the singles I've put out and stuff like that. Like, don't forget, like, I can rap, kind of thing.
Yeah. And it is, to go back to kind of like the 6 stages of rum or rum tasting. This is the aesthetic stage. So this is you kind of setting the tone. And even for me, like, from listening to your stuff before, and obviously your current releases, and then to hear this, it was like, oh yeah, that's what that guy can do. Do you know? It was you coming back with a punch and setting the tone for the whole EP. So I think it's definitely a great track to start with.
Yeah, nah, thank you very much. Like I said, I love those singles that I put on. I've had so much fun, good times, 3am in Tyrone, applause, Sour Bop. I have fun making those songs. Those songs are super fun to make, but at the same time, like, I can still, like, I can spin. I think and like I said, it's not even like an arrogant thing. It's kind of like I've put in my 100 hours now. Like, I put in my 1,000 hours or whatever it is. Like, I can rap with anyone. Like, you give me the chance, I'll rap with anyone.
We reach our second track, which is introduced to us by it's kind of like not really a voicemail, it's more like an introduction. It kind of reminded me of like maybe like a radio intro or something, introducing the whole track. And this track is just like, it's just an ultimate party track as well. I'm going to let the listeners hear the intro, and we'll dip into a little bit of your verse as well and see what's going on here.
Hey, what's happening? It's Rizlad here. You're rocking my Tyrone's hottest. Fuck being modest. Oi, CJ kid, heard you got some fire for us. Play a song I can have a drink day, kid. Yeah, man.
The way I stepped in the dance, yeah, bitch, used the drip in advance. The clothes are sick and appalling. I've got sight in my glass, you can see my wife. Even when she walks, it's applauding. Literally, yeah, I might need.
So there we have a little taster, and I mean the introduction is hilarious. Like, you can really imagine just being at a party and him just belting it out.
And
I have to
that's the
say,
vibe. I wanted it like it's the vibe. He's like I said, Riz is one of he's an absolute madman. Anyone that follows him on Instagram or if you follow him on TikTok, you just know that this guy's an absolute nutter. Like he's a madman, but he's like also as well, like he's what Tyrone, like in terms of like maybe people are like, he's got an English accent. This guy, he's not gonna be the forefront. Maybe we won't take him, but if there's someone that the county can all get behind in terms of one of their own, like Riz lad in bodies, like Tyrone, like he's so like Straban, like even how he talks, how he dresses, how he drinks, like anything, like the guy is Straban through and through, and it's how I wanted like the intro. For like, I like if anyone's gonna intro this EP and like gonna have like something like to do on this EP, it's definitely gonna be it's gonna be Riz. And like I said, I said to him, just send me a voice note of you saying something to intro the EP, and he literally, that's what he sent me, like one take. It was like that's what he sent me. I was like, oh, this is perfect. Like, and then yeah, the rest is history.
yeah, and I mean the track has so much to offer. You have a couple of features on there. We have kind of like a house kind of vibe going on in the beat. I love how before you come in, you're like, oh, he's done, might as well start rapping now. Like, it's just kind of like a fun track all around, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, like I said, I was super pleased. The features, like I said, I think Goose had kind of stepped out of his comfort zone a little bit. Like we kind of get a more dark, heavier feel from him. And like I like his stuff before, but I challenged him. I said, listen, like I put the beat on my Instagram story, and I was just like, look, if anyone's got 16 for me, like don't be shy, like bring it to the forefront. And he messaged it. He was the first person. He was like, you know what? I wanted to experiment with this sound, but I'm not sure. And then he sent me it, and I was like, this is fire. And then I think he re-recorded it, and he sent me it again, and I was like, right, okay, this is definitely like this has to go in the EP. And then it's kind of this is his bag, in it. Like I said, like how like in terms of the house rap crossover is his bag. Like I said, he fits in every, like I don't think there's a single pocket he's not in the beat in terms of he's caught all of them. And if you kind of listen as well, the punchlines are super hilarious as well. Like there's some hilarious punchlines from him. And then yeah, like I said, with me, kind of like I said, that this is the kind of song I would listen to if I was at a house party, and like when the drink's done, there's kind of nothing else to do. So I thought, you know what, like might as well incorporate that in there as well. But like, yeah, suit like I said, it's fun. The chorus as well, like it's got like a meaning as well, like celebrate not having to do any kind of like stuff on the road or like kind of do anything like illegal or anything like that. Like just celebrate like life and like just have something to drink. You know what I mean? Like too many people celebrate after it's all done. Like just celebrate while you're doing it.
Most definitely. And that's a really, really good way to look at things. And then it's supposed to have a big kind of like party tracker to kind of reach that level this early on into the EP was a bold move to make, but it is really well placed because like that, it is a fun track. We do kind of have the exciting elements say about it. And then we do get into some more kind of meaningful stuff as well. You make a few nods at like you talk about your dad a lot, you talk about your wife a lot. We know these are things that are like really, really close to you and close to your heart. Your song number 3 is Show Me Love, and that is a dedication to, well, it's not at one of your favorite songs, but it is also a dedication to your wife. I'm sure people by the title of the track know exactly what song is your favorite song, but let's give it a little spin and then you can tell me about the kind of meaning behind your dedication.
CJ, ex-wife, CJ, ex-wife. You already know the vibes. Hey, yo.
So girl, if you want me, no more games and no pretending. Late night, yeah, I'm here for venting. And if you really wanna be mine, then you gotta show me love.
I'm not trying to break your heart, cause I know your heart really needs a break. Definitely not trying to play you, cause I know that'd be a big mistake. Your ex-man was a weirdo, he didn't even want to mutate. Told you before, I got enough love for the both of us. Like
It's crazy because I was umming and ahhing about putting a song like that on there, not because I feel like people talk about Evil Eye a lot, right? Like I always talk about Evil Eye and stuff like that. Like you don't want to kind of give people too much of yourself, and especially when it's not just yourself you're giving them an insight into your family life and like just letting people know like this is kind of like where I am in terms of mentally, in terms of my like romantic side and stuff like that. So it was one that I'm the nod with. And funny story, I was actually supposed to sing the hook on this song. Like, and then I think I tried to sing it like 3 or 4 times and I was just like, there's no way. I'm not there yet. I'm not ready to put myself on like vocally that level yet. Like, do you know what I mean? Maybe later down the line. And then I worked with Rory on Good Times, and he actually, like I said, once I got clearance for the beat, he was like, right, give me the sample and I'm gonna spin it, and he absolutely knocked it clean out of the park. So yeah.
Yeah,
So
and it
happy about
is,
that.
yeah, it is brilliant track, and I know like you as an artist, it's kind of a constant battle of how much do I really want to show of my personal life and how much don't I. And as I said to you earlier, like when you were talking about your wife when we were on the podcast, you hadn't been married at that stage, but she is a strong person who kind of like encourages you and who is there for you, and she does have a big place in your heart. So tell me about kind of like dedicating the song to her. Obviously, you have your lyrics in this where it's like if you want me, but then at the end of it you change it to if I really want you kind of thing. And it's kind of like the stages of you guys when maybe as we're kind of starting to get together and settling in, or maybe as you take this new venture into a married life. So kind of talk to me about the dynamics there.
Yeah, like I said, like the original song is like, so it's a woman singing, it's Tina Moore singing. I think it's Tina Moore. Someone maybe needs to fact check that, but it's so, baby, if you want me, you gotta show me love. Words are so easy to say. You gotta show me love. And I always loved that song, like in terms of my mum used to have that song blaring in the car, like full beam. And I always used to think to myself, like, wow, like it's kind of like it was like her singing, like there was a part where she riffs and it kind of feels like right, like she's kind of like not only performing it, but she's feeling it. And I've always said I wanted to have that kind of emotion on a song. So when I kind of heard that this sample was available, and I was like, oh my God, like perfect, like let's go. Like I want this feeling. And like I said, that's how I was feeling. Like me and my wife have been through so much, and I don't think I would be rapping. I don't think I'd even be alive, if I'm being like perfectly honest, like through life and stuff like that without her by my side. So I just like, yes, we're married and stuff, and like people could say maybe that's the pinnacle, but we still have a whole life to live together. Do you know what I mean? I wanted her to know like I'm always gonna show love, like no matter what happens in this music scene. And that's why I made it the lead single as well. Like that's why this is the song like I wanted everyone to kind of like look, like this is my message to everyone. And I'm direct, like, and I wanted a song where I'm directly like there's some songs where you're kind of like talking, but maybe you're like just thinking off your head. But like I said, I wanted to speak directly to her, which is why my first line is, I don't want to break your heart, because I know that your heart really needs to break. Like I said, like people will go through stuff, and maybe it will be to do with me, maybe it'll be to do with, like I said, we got 2 kids together. It could be to do with anything. Do you know what I mean? Like finances, but I want to always be there for you, like, and I want to always show you love. So that's why I kind of said to her, like, look, like, and she didn't know, she had no idea I was even working on this song. And then I played it to her the month before the wedding, and I said, look, like, I've wrote this song for you, kind of thing. I want you to hear it. And like, if you think it's too much, like, just let me know, and I'll scrap the whole thing. Because like, she's quite a private person as well. Like, as much as, like I said, like, she like there's times where I've put pictures up of us, and she'll be like, oh, like, I don't want like evil eye kind of on our relationship. So like, you can put it up on your story, but maybe don't put it as like a picture that everyone can kind of come back to and stuff like that. And she comments on stuff, but she might not, like, she'll comment, but it won't be like obvious comments of like who she is, kind of thing. So it's quite good, like, and stuff like that. But like, anyone who knows me knows that like I'm a passionate person, and like I wanted that to show. And like I said, we both enjoy, like I said, the rum drinking idea, although came from me. She's always been like, even before, she's been my drinking partner. So it kind of only made sense to have, like, if I'm having this whole like feel of rum, like of rum tasting, I wanted it to like the feel of it, and how the alcohol feels and stuff like that. I wanted people to see how I feel about the person who I'd probably be rum tasting with, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's such a cute little like analogy for it, like the feel of this, and you're kind of saying like that, like the way that she makes you feel as such. It's nearly like kind of a testimony of your love and your understanding for her. What was her reaction when she heard the song first?
I think she loved it, and then it started dawning on her that, all right, if he's recorded it, he's gonna release this at some point. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, which is a little bit like, oh, like, and like, as much as people may not know who I'm talking about, in like one of my first releases where I featured on Buns' song, I think I said her name at the end, and she was a bit like I like it. Like, she liked it because obviously the verse was about her, and then she was like, and then I kind of said her name. She's like, whoa, like I said, she's a real private person, and like, so it's kind of like, she's like, whoa. So I think she really loved the song. She loved the fact that it was about her. It kind of was testimony to our relationship, and then it kind of started dawning on her that, oh shoot, like, this is gonna be a song that he puts out there, and people are gonna listen to it, and all of our friends and family are gonna know I'm talking about her. And like, she kind of like, I think she's kind of accepted it now. I don't know, she's like, I think she's happy that it's the lead single because it's about her, but she's also like, it's the lead single and it's about her, which is a bit like, and she hasn't seen the visuals yet either. So that's going to be another interesting thing, because when she sees the visuals, it's going to be another thing. But yeah, no, quality. When like I said, I'm married, so I'm in love, and I just want to show love. So yeah.
Exactly, and you're finding your way to express it without being not too obvious, but being able to kind of keep your private side as well. So yeah, I think it's definitely put together, and obviously your friends and family are going to know about it, but to other people, maybe they can attach their own stories to it too.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I said, I don't want everyone, like, don't be thinking about my wife. Like, think about your own partners. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want you thinking about my wife when, like, you're hearing this song. Like, think about your own love interest. Like, but yeah, nah, for sure. Like, I want it to be something that people can relate to as well, because people love love. Like, do you know what I mean? And that's, like I said, I want people, if, like I said, like, when you drink rum, you get a feel for it. Like, you get a feel how it feels, and like, I want people to know, like, that's how how I feel. Have you felt similar? Do you feel similar, kind of thing? So it's a feel and then familiarity kind of thing. So yeah.
Very good. So we transitioned then from being quite lovey and open into a song that is probably one of the most impactful songs on you kind of making a point and letting people know that you are not here to play. It is song number 4 and it is called Boxing. So let's have a listen.
But thank God that I went a different way. But don't get twisted for the fam, you can get bust and there'll be no delay. Isn't it crazy? Last year I was really on this quitting. Now next year they're calling me crypto, the way I'm flipping. You thought that you were safe, bro, but when I see you, bro, you know you're slipping. No teams with that 2 in the blue, but they really don't know about cripping.
So there we have Boxing, and that is another song that's kind of filled with metaphors straight from the start to the end. This song definitely shows your strength. It shows that you're not just kind of taking things lightheartedly. We have nods. Obviously, the song is called Boxing. We have nods at boxers such as Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, and David Hay. And I'm pretty sure there's a couple in there that I missed as well. So can you kind of talk me through the kind of metaphors of boxing?
Yeah, firstly, I want to say, like, before this begins as well, like, my granddad, like, God rest his soul, he was a boxing man. Like, he's the reason why I'm kind of into boxing. So, like, and I lost him this time last year. So it was like, he was the reason I love boxing, and like he's part of the reason for that. So I wanted to say, like, rest in peace to him. And like, it's always like, boxing for me has always been like that thing where it's not like who's the strongest, but it's one man versus another man in a ring, like in a controlled environment. There's set rules, but like, go for it kind of thing. And it's kind of like, it's almost like they call it the beautiful science, because it is kind of like it's a science behind it. Like there's training and stuff like that. And I wanted people to know, like in terms of my strength, in terms of like where I am, like in terms of like, yes, you can get fun CJ who is at house parties, do you know what I mean? And you can get like romantic CJ who's like married off and like completely in love, but like underneath all of that, like I'm still who I am, like, do you know what I mean? And there's nods to my past, there's nods to where I am now in terms of mentally and stuff like that. And I just want people to know that, in terms of like, I've never feared any challenge, like, and like we're all like the same, and like just like boxing on a 1v1, I'm happy to hold my own and show people that, look, especially in this rap thing, like I'll hold my own no matter what. So yeah.
Most definitely. And you're putting yourself on the list of kind of key figures within the rap scene, like the way that you've listed some of the key figures in the boxing scene there. So like, I mean, definitely setting the boundaries and the barriers kind of there. Is there any particular reason why you named the boxers that you named throughout the track, or are these just kind of the most influential, or the ones that have been the most influential?
Like I said, I think in terms of modern boxing, like there's so many, in terms of like the modern boxing, I think like the heavyweight division has kind of like been what they call the blue ribbon division. It's kind of been where people who may not even be boxing fans are tuning in to watch AJ and tuning in to watch Tyson Fury and tuning in to watch Deontay Wilder and things like that. Like I said, so, and like these kind of guys are all kind of battling at the moment. So I wanted to have that kind of feel where like all my metaphors kind of went back to back with their names. So it's like, it was quite like, yeah, like I said, it was, I felt like these people are like influential, and like I could have done name flips like I said, there's been 100 name flips on Floyd Mayweather, do you know what I mean? And there's been 100 doubles on Canelo and stuff like that. And yes, I mentioned Mike Tyson, and there's been like 100 flips on Mike Tyson as well. So I wanted to do something, you know what? No one's kind of done all of them together and kind of like flip them all. So like, and I wanted, and in a credible way. So I wanted to kind of do it that way.
Yeah, and I have to say that section is it's kind of wordplay, and you're getting your points across as well. So it is very clever the way that you brought them in and placed them in the track. To move on to track 5, which would be our aftertaste in terms of our rum drinking. Track 5 is Microwavy, and this is a track that you have said will kind of stand the test of time. So let's give that a spin, and then you can tell us a bit about the track.
I'm hot like put in a microwave. DJ too suave. See the drip drop calmly. Drunk or high in the party. If it's not Ray Bacardi.
So there is a little tester or taster even of Microwavy. Is it microwave or micro heavy?
So it's funny. Everyone asks me this, right? So the tune. So I don't know if anyone remembers. Yeah, Nigella did a cooking show, like a cooking show, ages ago, and everyone knows Nigella for saying like weird. Like Nigella Lawson's like a famous cook, and she said stuff so weird. Like and it feels like everything she does is like over sexual. It's so weird. And like she said microwave, right? So she said she was putting something in the microwave. And when she said it, I remember watching it and I remember dying. I was like, what is she talking about? I was like, what is a microwave? And I was like, do you know what? Yeah, I was like, if I ever am gonna do a flip on this, it's definitely like I definitely want to do something. And then I heard the beat. I heard this beat. It was between that I tried this song on like literally bar for bar on 2 different beats, and I liked it on this one because it kind of felt like a bit like Arcadian, like I said, like the microwave thing. Like it's like I wanted to have fun, but also as well, it's kind of like it was that whole period where she's like literally just saying like random words weirdly. It was just crazy to me. So I wanted to kind of like, do you know what, like wanted to prove my lyricism and see if I can include that in the song, and like it kind of worked perfectly on the hook. So yeah.
Yeah, that's actually hilarious. I completely forgot about that. That moment. She does come out with the most randomest things. I remember one she was doing. Can't remember if she was making a cake or something. And she had a bottle of vodka, and she was like, "Okay, just like a tiny little drop of it," and she pours like half the bottle in. I was like, "Oh God."
She's amazing. Like I said, like if you ever watch that, I don't know if she still does it, yeah, but like near Christmas, she does like a Christmas cooking show, yeah. And every year you're kind of watching it, and it's kind of like you're watching it, but you're like, I don't even know if I should be watching this. Like this is so strange. Like I said, like it's like the kind of thing that like when you were younger, like it would come on like when your parents were in the room and you'd be like, oh Jesus, like, I don't even know if I should be watching this. Like it's so strange, like, and I always just found it so funny. Like, and that microwave thing, when she said, oh yep, just gonna pop it in the microwave, I had stitches. I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely using that. I'm definitely taking that. And I actually tried to reach out to Nigella as well. I tried to see if I could use that clip of her, because I know she takes stuff down. She's notorious for like, if people like use stuff, like I think that was big on TikTok for a while. She got it taken down. So like I messaged her and I said, look, like, can I use it? And she read it and she never even replied to me. So
oh no.
she hasn't copyright. I checked, she hasn't copyrighted the words, so I could use the words, but I wanted to use like her actually saying it. Like I wanted to use it in the sample, like in the song, but she never hit me back. So
well, maybe after she listens to the EP or she catches this, she might send you a message and give you clearance for it then.
hopefully,
yeah. Talk to me about the overall kind of lyrics and feel of this track, because I know it does fall into our aftertaste. And when you kind of listen to it at like just kind of at an arm's length, it is quite like nostalgic or a reminiscent feel to it. Now I know the lyrics don't really match that, so just kind of tell me a little bit about that.
I wanted it to feel like, so when it's like you kind of like when you listen to it just at face value, it's like it feels quite braggadocious, you know what I mean? But what I'm kind of doing is I'm kind of like spilling a little bit, like a kind of like the aftertaste of it, like how I feel like after like I kind of rap, like there's a little bit of like, alright, cool, I hear what people say about me. I wanted people to know like I feel like a lot of people try and do that thing like where they're too cool and they're like, oh, I don't even hear what so-and-so says. I don't even acknowledge these people. Like I wanted people to know like look, like I acknowledge that all the stuff you maybe say, all the fake accounts that you DM me from, like, do you know what I mean? Like I hear all of it, but that I'm unfazed by it. Like I'm still that guy. Like I'm still gonna be CJ no matter what you say. So that's why when I say like, and like there's people like I wanted it to be a nod to like all them bitter like hip hop heads like from Tyrone and further afield are kind of like, oh, you haven't done it like the way that we've done it, and like your come up is kind of like people like there's people who are kind of jealous because like their whole discography hasn't got the same views that my first song got. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, Applause did numbers that these people, if you add up all of their discography, like numbers put together, it can't add up to even like one of mine. Do you know what I mean? And then especially after Summer Pop, like I feel like people just cranked it up. Like as much as the love kind of cranked up for it, people were like, I had people like messaging me being like, "Oh, you're definitely buying numbers," and I was like, "What the hell? What the hell is that wrong with people?" But yeah, no, I definitely don't. I don't buy numbers. I don't like. I don't even think I promoted Summer Bop that well. Like so, like I said, it kind of just received well, and it kind of so yeah. I wanted people to know like I hear what you're saying, and like remember if you're coming at me, these are the things that kind of like are surrounding it. Like where there's a segment in it when I say like rappers like rappers sign like deals and stuff like that, or rappers sign themselves to stuff and align themselves with stuff and then end up getting shelved or end up getting screwed over and end up bitter about the next person who kind of comes through and maybe maneuvers that opportunity better. And it's just like don't be bitter, be better kind of thing.
Yeah, most definitely. And I mean, what you were saying there about people kind of accusing you of by numbers, we have unfortunately seen that a lot within the Irish scene. But I mean, we've talked about this before. You literally walked the streets trying to get people to or asking people to listen to your song, and the way you executed your kind of post release and your marketing of the song is what got you those numbers. It's not just you sitting here going, "Oh, I'm just going to pay for this or pay for that." Like you put hard work in, you had sleepless nights to try and get to that. So I suppose it is right for you to acknowledge it, but to just brush it off as well.
Yeah, like I said, I want people to know like people think that whole thing of like I'm not in like a rarefied atmosphere. Like I hear what you're saying, like I'm on the ground, like I'm in tune with the scene. Like I think people sometimes misconstrue artists, like they think they're kind of like actors. Like you know how some actors are like, I don't read the critiques of my movies. Whereas like as much as we're in a talent game, we're also in a numbers-based game. And sometimes you gotta know what the streets and what the scene is saying. Otherwise, like you're kind of doing it blind. You're a bit like you're. So I'm letting people know, like, and I'm letting the county know as well. Like I hear all the love. Like I said, I've got people who support me. Like I said, I've got people shouting me out on the street and stuff like that. And like I've got people like I ran into a group of teenagers. I was on the bus on the way to work, and like I ran into like a group of teenagers, and they were all like they wanted to take pictures and stuff with me, and I was like, this is strange, like, and like, do you know what I mean? I got my work uniform on. Do you know what I mean? I had my work uniform and my work laptop and stuff like that, and I was just like it was a bit strange and stuff like that, but it was kind of like I said, like as much as I interact with people, like, and sometimes the interaction, and a lot of the time, maybe 80% of the interactions are positive. Like I said, I've got people in my town, in my county. Like I said, like even 3M in Tyrone, like it was crazy. I did no promo for that whatsoever. Like none. Like I refused to promo it. I think I maybe got like 25K streams. And then I looked at where those 20,000, like, and like nearly 20,000 of them was from like in and around like Tyrone. It was like Dungannon and Strabane, and I had some in Derry and Belfast, and I was like, people like are taking note of this. Like, I had Dublin, Cork, like people were taking note of this song. So like I listen to the streets because that's what people want, but also do I hear the negativity as well, but I'm gonna brush it. Like I said, you take stuff in, like you take the alcohol in, and like you make a decision based upon it. Like you drink, like people drink alcohol sometimes, they're like, oh, it's too sweet, like, or you drink it and like it's too sour. But like I said, I take it all, like I blend it all and taste it, and I know what it is. So I'm happy to go with whatever.
So that's the definitely kind of the aftertaste of like your music career as such, as well as like fitting into the EP and also fitting into the Rum theme. We then reach the final track, which is Achilles, and I have to say this has the catchiest hook I have ever heard. I don't know, but just the line about the prawns. Anytime I heard that, I was like, what is going on here? So yeah, we'll give that a spin, and then we can revisit the ending of the EP.
I'm a king, yeah. I don't really bother with pawns. I'm a big shark. I don't really bother with prawns. You're not me, don't know how I feel. Won't get screwed on for bad deal. Won't open up, yeah, I'll keep it real. Can't let you see my Achilles heel. Yeah, I'm a king.
So there we just heard a clip of the final track and the outro of your debut EP, Something to Drink To, and that is Achilles. So we do have a sample from a movie at the beginning of that as well. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, one of my favorite movies. Troy. It's got the boy Brad Pitt in it. It's got I can't remember the other dude's name. It's Orlando Bloom's in it as well. Like his famous movie Troy, and the character Achilles, like he's such a complex guy. Like he battles with almost like should I, like he battles throughout the whole movie of like what should I do kind of thing, and then that scene he loses his cousin in battle, right? Like he's a Roman soldier, like and he turns around to the boy, like he could have easily at that point kind of just said, you know what, yeah, like I'm gonna go on a like crazy rampage, but he wanted like direct, like he wanted to go for the jugular, like, and he went to the guy who killed him and said, look, this is a one-on-one type situation. And at first he was like seething, which is at the beginning, and it was kind of like when he said like you'll if you come against, like you've come against me now, and like people will know, like this will go down in history as like the day you came against me. And it's like, and it's kind of me talking like about the hardships, but also as well it's about like the industry as well. Like there's been a bit of a pushback from the industry in terms of not the artists. Like I've spoken a lot about artists and stuff like that, but I think what a lot of people don't do is speak about the actual like radio heads and like the playlists and stuff like that. And I just wanted people to know, like, I'm never gonna be the one, like you're never gonna get me on like this super vulnerable, like online on Instagram live crying and shit. Like I'm not gonna give you that, like as in the industry, like I'm not gonna give you what you want. Like it's like if you approach me, you're approaching me because you know what I've got, and if I've approached you, it's because I know what you are, but also I'm strong in my beliefs. So you're never gonna catch me. Like I said, sometimes the industry has people outside, man. Like you see people on like Instagram live, like begging for their music back and stuff, and like you see people on Twitter. You see people on Twitter for like maybe 24 hours straight, tweeting like once every 10 minutes about how they've been screwed over by deals, and then like see like I said, I never, like you'll never catch me doing that, any kind of that mad stuff. Like I said, I handle myself as I am, like, do you know what I mean? As a man, like my mum always told me, like you are you're a man first, and like you don't, like you never want to go outside, and like that's why I put myself. Achilles, like he, as much as he wanted to, at the time in the movie, he was kind of like he was loved up and he wasn't sure, but like he wanted people like. And he thinks because of that, maybe people thought he wasn't war ready. And like it's not just people I'm willing to go to war with. Like I'll go to war with people who like I said, with the industry itself, like with the actual powers that be, because before you catch me going outside, like I'll go out like a man. That's what I wanted people to know.
Yeah. So it's nearly a statement of you know your self-worth and you're not going to kind of step below that. To kind of dive into that a little bit more, like obviously stuff doesn't work out, but does that have an effect on you kind of underneath all of this? Like, is this just the image that you're putting out there to people, or are you really just like, if I can't control it, I can't control it, something better is going to come?
Yeah, no, for sure. Listen, like I said, that you can't control what other people do. You could only control how you feel and how you act on situations. Like I said, I've attracted a little bit of attention from the industry and stuff like that. And like there's been people in the industry who have kept it 100, yourself and the people at Slimmer Weekly and stuff like that who have kept it 100. Couple other radio stations as well. Queen's radio in Belfast kept it 100. They love good times. They weren't really feeling 3M in Tyrone, but it is what it is. I'd rather you keep it 100 with me. Like I said, I like when people keep it 100. I'm 100 as well. And like like I said, you don't have to like everything. I keep on saying it to people, like you don't like. I'm not saying you have to like everything I do, but you have to respect me. And I've been in interviews with record labels, and you sit down with these people, and one of the guys was like, "Oh, I forgot your name." And I was thinking to myself, "You invited me." Like, it's not. I don't seek people out. And then you've got radio stations who play non-stop. Like they've got RDH and bloody everyone under the sun on repeat every hour. And you ask them to show love to someone that, do you know what I mean, from the scene, and then they start talking about, like, I don't even want to put DJs on blast and stuff like that, but DJs have been trying to get money, like, to play on their radio station and stuff. Yeah, like I said, it's a slimy game. It's a proper slimy game. And like I said, I won't play it. Like I won't play the game. I refuse that. Like I said, because when the DJ asked me, I said, "How much did you ask? How much money did RD have to pay to get played by you?" And they're like, "What?" And I was like, "Because if you're charging me, I want to know what your going rate is. How much did you charge? How much did you charge? How much did you charge Meg Thee Stallion's people to have her songs played on your radio show? How much did you charge Doja Cat? Do you know what I mean? I want to know how much you charge these people, or is it that you're willing to promote these people who you don't even know or are not even close to your scene, but it's time to, you know what, like stand up and be counted and be like, look, this is the scene. I'm an Irish DJ or I'm a UK DJ and I want to play up and coming music and have the chance to be the first, you know what I mean? To be the first. They want to, like I said, and I know for a fact that's why even the GDS ways, we started our own playlist of like, it's like the up and coming playlist. And like the one thing we always said is there's no payola, like there's no money you can send us. Like you're not going to be able to send us money to get on our playlist. Like you're just not going to, like you're like everyone that's on our playlist, we listen to their music. We listen to the song, we fuck to the song, we put the song on the playlist, calm. Like it's not gonna happen like that.
Yeah, and I mean the scene is very, or can be very slimy when it comes to that. I mean, we've seen many issues with our platforms here in Ireland, but as you said, you do come across the ones that are willing to support and are willing to show the love. And then also, as we hear in Achilles, like you know your worth, you're not going to stoop down to anyone's level. And you've shown your capability as well over the course of your career, or as much as we've known of you, that like you will stand your ground and you are willing to kind of put your name out there yourself and do the work yourself. So yeah, I think that's a brilliant way to tie up the EP. And it just kind of creates it as a whole. So yeah, I guess thank you for sharing all the inside information into the EP and kind of the background stories of everything and opening up about it. have you any kind of final notes or anything about the project?
Yeah, I want everyone to enjoy it. Like I said, there's deeper undertones, but if that's not your bag, listen to it anyway. There's bangers on there. There's lines that are witty, that will make you laugh. Like I said, the original concept was to have an EP that and you could drink in, that you can listen to in any setting, and in kind of in a backwards way, without consciously doing that and consciously doing something else. I've created what I wanted to do in the first place, which I'm quite happy with. Like I said, it's a body of work. It shows you who CJ is in music, in the industry, outside of music. Like I said, before anything like you get a bit of CJ the rapper, CJ the kind of businessman, CJ the husband, CJ the son, CJ the father as well. Like I said, I'm a dad, so I've got two sons, and I want them to, even if they grow up and hate rap, like I want them to look back on it and like look, like my dad at least had, like, do you know what I mean? Like I look back at some of like my uncles and stuff that who were like a part of like the generation of people that came from Jamaica and created the sound system, sort of the UK sound system, which is now obviously snowball effects has tumbled right down into influences, that direct influences into stuff we have today, like drill, grime, rap, like garage, everything. Kind of like some of my family members were a part of that. Do you know what I mean? And part of that sort of that era of music. And like, I like, you look back on it and you kind of look back at it and like, all right, cool. Maybe they didn't blow up and they weren't multi-millionaires. You know what I mean? But what they did, their sound was like, it couldn't be like, it was, the word that my boy Danny uses is that when you look back at stuff, you want it to be unfuckable with. And like, that's kind of what I want. That's what I want my EP to be.
Brilliant. So we'll all have to go and get a glass of rum now and stick on something to drink to and just vibe for the night.
Yeah, nah, for sure, man. Listen, get yourself, if you're drinking rum, vodka, glass of Guinness, do you know what I mean? Pint of Guinness. Even if you're just drinking water, if you're the designated driver, you know what I mean? Get yourself a little orange juice and vibes. Like everyone can vibe to this for sure, man.